So now we need to create a data set. So a data set is essentially an SQL query. Now you could create your queries within BIRT if you'd like, but I find that it's much easier to do it within a true database tool. Here I'm using Toad, but you can use the default query writer that comes with MySQL or SQL Server, or potentially if SQL is not your strong point, you can describe the information that you need and maybe get an SQL query from someone more familiar with the database. So here's a simple SQL query for our report. It's got a list of fields here, many of these that you'll recognize, like project name, document name, description, as well as some you likely do not recognize, such as sort order, is folder, and the global sorter. So the main things to think about here is that some of these fields tell us what type of item it is, so whether it's an item or a folder. This provides us some information on how to format it, whether it's a section or maybe a line item within a section. The sort order provides us with that information of how does this item fit within the project. And so from our contour piece here, where we can see we have the requirements, so we have our set or document group, we have the folder, and then we have the items. And so I can recreate this in my report with that information in my query. So we have the folder information, the sort information, as well as the document group and the document. Here we can see how we built this information and how we linked it all together. The primary table that we're going to look at is the document table. So this is where all the information about all of our items is stored. The document group is going to be the set, and so it's going to be that requirements or use cases piece. The project obviously is the project where this is all going to be put in. The project release, each project manages its own list of releases, and so that's essentially a lookup table that holds the release information. We have two separate joins here to the lookup table is to pull out the priority as well as the status. And so the document holds a reference to the lookup value for the priority and the status, and this join will get those values. Now we've done left joins here on these values because there's no guarantee that a release or a priority or status value has been set. And so we obviously still want to return that record even if it's a null value. And so that's why we have that left join. Now as we look down here a little bit further, I have a hard-coded document group ID, and so I'm looking at 3, and so we'll be able to see that that actually is our requirement set. And the reason why I've hard-coded this is that it's much easier as we develop our report to have a guaranteed list of results. Once we get our report formatted and get the data inserted like we want it to, I'll change this so it'll be a parameterized value, and then we can pick the set. So whether it's requirements or if it's going to be use cases or whatever, we can make that a variable. This next piece here is that the document is active. So when an item in Contour is edited, we create a new version. And so those versions are going to be available within the database. And so each of those prior versions are going to be marked as inactive or false. And so we want to make sure that we're only grabbing the current item. And so this will ensure that if an item has 6 versions, we only get the latest version. The last piece here is the sort order. And so this will guarantee that the sort order of our query results will match the sort order in Contour. So when I run this query, I'll pull it up here to give you some more space. We can see our project name, the API ID, and these are pieces that you can find within Contour's administration pieces. The name, the description. So the description is not shown here because it's a large field, so we could expand that and see it if we wanted to. The document key, this is the requirement. Since I've hard-coded the document group or the set to be 3, this is going to be consistent throughout the whole report. If we were to look at our document group table, we would see all the different document groups or sets that we have set up in the system. And so in my sample system, I've got multiple projects. And each of these projects are always going to have an attachment set. This is not a set that you're going to need to think about. But here we can see the other sets that we have available. And so there's change requests, there's multiple change requests, multiple defects, I have a couple requirements and a couple use cases. And so what does this mean? This means that these sets belong to different projects. And so as we look over here, we can see all the different project IDs. If I group these together, we can see project 1, and now we can see features, requirements, use cases, test cases, defects. And so this is where I got the document ID 3, is I wanted this set of requirements from this project. And project 1, if we jump down here to our project table, is going to be the sample data that's shipped with the system. So we'll scroll over here and see this is our Coverage Plus system. So here within the schema we have all the different tables and all the information. Best place to start is the document. And so the document again is that item. And as you scroll through it, you can see all the different fields that are available here that have been stored with that, as well as all of the different tables that it's connected to. So as I zoom out here, you can see that this document table has a lot of different relationships within the system.